I still remember the exact moment it happened. I was standing in line at a gas station off the I-70, halfway through a cross-state business trip, when my phone buzzed. The screen lit up with a name I hadn't seen in weeks. Claire. My wife. Or rather, the woman who used to be my partner in everything. I picked up. Her voice was calm, almost rehearsed. "Hey, Alex, just wanted to let you know. It's over. I filed the papers this morning." I blinked. "Wait, what? Claire, what are you talking about?" "I'm divorcing you. It's done. I also transferred the money, our joint savings, into a private account. You'll see it's already gone." My stomach dropped. I looked up at the cashier, who had paused mid-scan, watching me with a vague look of concern. I turned away and stepped outside. "Claire, what the hell is this? Is this a joke?" My voice was rising, and I knew it, but I didn't care. She let out a tired sigh. "It's not a joke, Alex. We've been growing apart for a long time. I've just been waiting for the right time to end it. You were too busy with your job to notice. This is just easier." "You emptied our account? That's our savings, our future." "No, it was my future. You just never saw it. 6 years earlier when Claire and I met, we were nobodies. I was still finishing my MBA, working 2 part-time jobs, and living in a crummy apartment over a pizza place. Claire was bartending downtown, saving for nursing school. She had this wild, unapologetic energy that drew people in like moths to a flame. And I was just another moth, grinning like an idiot as I watched her light up every room. We struggled together. We built things. I got a decent job in logistics, then got promoted, then moved up again. Claire finished school, got certified, and started working at a top private clinic. Life wasn't glamorous, but it was stable, comfortable, or so I thought. We traveled when we could, saved religiously. That savings account was meant for our future home, maybe kids someday. I thought we were aligned. Apparently not. Back to now, the next few weeks were a blur. Papers came through confirming what she'd said. The joint account was drained, $87,000 gone in a day. I contacted the bank, but since the account required only one signatory to withdraw, there was nothing I could do. Friends called, some out of concern, others out of curiosity. Claire ghosted everyone. She even blocked me on every platform. But here's the part she didn't know. I had secrets too. Not dirty ones, strategic ones. 6 months ago, I started building something on the side. A logistics tech startup focused on automated fleet routing. I'd pitched it at a convention in Chicago and landed a low-key investor. Someone who preferred to stay anonymous, but had deep pockets. I'd been funneling my bonuses into that business, every penny of it, and never told Claire. Not because I didn't trust her, but because I wanted to build something that was mine first, before bringing her in. I'd also met a guy, Wes, during one of my conferences. He'd just sold his 3rd company and was looking to invest in something gritty and disruptive. We clicked instantly. 2 weeks after Claire's disappearing act, I finalized a deal with Wes for $2.1 million in seed funding, and just like that, Atlas Ops was born. Claire thought she left me broken and broke, but what she really did was set me free. At first, I didn't care about revenge. I focused on building the company, assembling a small team, and launching our MPV. We got traction fast, faster than I expected. But then I started hearing things. From mutual friends. From people Claire had talked to. She'd been cheating on me for over a year. With a surgeon at her clinic. They were already living together. I saw the pictures, smiling, cozy, holding hands on a beach in the Keys just 2 weeks after she left me. That's when something inside me shifted. She thought she won. She had no idea what was coming. I poured everything into Atlas Ops. Late nights, endless coffee, days blurring into one another. The company became my therapy, my purpose, my armor. My small apartment turned into a war room. Whiteboards scrawled with ideas, laptops humming with code, and logistics data. My team, mostly contractors at first, worked remotely from 3 different time zones. And we were making real progress. Within 3 months, we had pilot programs running with 2 local delivery companies. The software was saving them up to 27% in fuel and time costs. Investors started paying attention. Wes came through again, bringing in a second round of funding, another $3 million. I started pulling a six-figure salary, but I didn't touch it, not a cent. Instead, I moved quietly. I set up new accounts, changed my address, cut every old tie that wasn't real or necessary. Claire had removed herself from my life. I was just returning the favor. They say knowledge is power. I made it my mission to know everything about Claire's new life. Her boyfriend, Dr. Matthew Coulson, was flashy, a top orthopedic surgeon with a god complex and a taste for expensive scotch and younger nurses. He'd been divorced twice already. According to a contact at the clinic, he was known for mixing business with pleasure. Claire was just his latest project. They lived together now in a waterfront condo he leased under his practice's name. She'd quit nursing 3 months after moving in and started calling herself a wellness consultant. Her days were filled with yoga, wine tastings, and tagging beach sunsets on Instagram. It was so empty, but she looked happy, and that made me sick. I wasn't jealous, not anymore. I just hated the injustice of it. She got to walk away clean, while I had to rebuild from ash. But that's when I realized, maybe I didn't need revenge in the traditional sense. No screaming, no angry messages, no messy drama. I would beat her the way she'd never see coming. By winning. One of our earliest investors introduced me to a major shipping conglomerate. They were struggling with inefficient routes across their Midwest operations. If we could solve their issue, they'd license Atlas Ops for their entire network. It was a long shot, a whale of a deal, but we nailed it. The contract was worth $12.8 million over 3 years. And just like that, we weren't a startup anymore. We were players. It made headlines in the trade world. Not big media yet, but enough to get whispers moving in our old social circles. People started reaching out. "Hey man, saw the article. That's huge. How's life?" I ignored most of them. Then I got a DM from one of Claire's old friends, Sarah. Sarah: "Wow, you really pulled it off. Just so you know." Claire saw the article. She asked if it was the same Alex. I didn't answer. Figured you'd want to know. So she finally noticed. Let her stew. Wes threw a party at his lakeside estate to celebrate the deal. "You've got to show face now, Alex," he said. "People need to see the man behind the machine." I went. Not because I wanted to, but because I knew she'd be watching. Maybe not in person, but through someone. The party was high-end. Champagne fountains, hired chefs, drones doing synchronized light shows over the lake. And me, in a tailored suit, shaking hands with VCs and execs, like I'd always belonged in that world. I ended up on the arm of a woman named Elise, one of our legal consultants. Smart, witty, zero tolerance for BS. Someone took a photo, us laughing, holding glasses of wine, with the caption, "The man of the hour. Atlas Ops is just getting started." It blew up in our circle. 2 days later, Claire emailed me for the first time since the call. "Hey, I saw the news. Just wanted to say congrats. You always talked about building something like this, and it's incredible to see you did it. I know things didn't end the way they should have. Maybe one day we can catch up if you're open to it. No pressure. Claire." I stared at the email for a long time. A few months ago, I'd have melted, rushed to reply, begged for closure. But now it just felt hollow. I didn't respond, not yet, because her story was about to unravel, and I wasn't done playing my hand. I didn't respond to Claire's email, not because I didn't have anything to say. Oh, I did. But because I needed the timing to be perfect. In this game, control was everything, so I waited, focused on Atlas Ops. We signed 2 more major clients. I expanded the team, moved into a proper office downtown, hired a PR consultant. Suddenly, I was being invited to panels, podcasts, and interviews. My name was showing up in headlines Claire never imagined I'd be in. And then came the opportunity I'd been waiting for. Wes called me one morning, sounding like he was trying to hold in a laugh. "Guess who's hosting a private fundraiser next week?" No idea, I said. Dr. Matthew Coulson. The name punched the air out of my lungs for a second, but I kept my tone neutral. The ortho guy? Yup, big shot. Raising money for some elite medical nonprofit. Trying to get into the social elite circles. And get this. He reached out to me personally for a donation pitch. Wants visionary founders on his guest list. I leaned back in my chair and smiled. I'm going. Wes chuckled. Thought you might. I arrived at the event dressed to kill. Tailored navy suit, subtle cufflinks, Rolex I didn't even pay for. A gift from Wes after our third deal closed. The fundraiser was held at a rented art gallery. Glass, marble, and too much money in one room. And there she was. Claire. Standing beside him, wearing a champagne-colored silk dress, her hair perfectly waved, laughing at something a gray-haired doctor said. She hadn't noticed me yet. But when she did, the change in her face was instant. A flicker of disbelief, followed by a smile she probably hadn't rehearsed. Alex? She said, walking toward me like we hadn't just severed a life together. Oh my God! I smiled back, calm, measured. Claire. You're here? I didn't know you and Matthew. Oh, I'm one of the donors. Got an invite through Wes. He and I do business now. Her eyes flicked over my suit, my watch, my general glow-up. She was calculating, comparing, regretting. Matthew came over, extending a hand. You must be Alex. Heard great things. Wes said you're revolutionizing logistics. Big fan of disruption. I shook his hand. Nice to meet you. Heard great things about your hands. Claire stiffened. Matthew didn't catch it. Too busy scanning the room for richer prey. We chatted for 5 minutes. Polite, charming, surface level. Then I dropped the line. I'm actually looking into some partnerships in private health logistics. Might be interesting for us to chat, Matt. Claire's smile faltered. Oh? Matthew said. We should talk. I'll have my assistant send over something. Can't promise anything. But hey, possibilities. I could see Claire's brain working overtime. That night, I left early. On purpose. Leave them wanting more. Over the next few weeks, I made sure to casually be around. Not stalkerish, not desperate, just visible. I ran into Claire at a new rooftop bar downtown, one I'd heard she frequented through the grapevine. I bumped into Matthew at a business breakfast and paid for his meal before he could. I even donated anonymously to the fundraiser and made sure the receipt showed up in the event newsletter with my name at the top of the donor list. And then it happened. Sarah messaged me again. You didn't hear this from me, but Claire and Matt are fighting. A lot. She thinks he's cheating. Again. She brought up your name in a fight. Said, maybe I backed the wrong horse. I didn't reply. Not because I didn't care, but because I was winning. And it was almost time for the final move. It came in the form of a business opportunity. One that looked innocent on the surface. Matthew's clinic was considering expanding into remote orthopedic consultations and needed software to manage the logistics of post-op equipment delivery. Wes reached out with a casual, You want to take the lead on this one? I said yes. I met with Matthew privately. Over lunch. No Claire. I made the pitch. Customized software, streamlined delivery, data-secured communication. Atlas Ops could tailor everything. He was impressed. This could really elevate our patient satisfaction rates, he said. How fast can you onboard us? We can fast-track it, but we'd need a 3-year commitment. He agreed. We signed the deal 2 weeks later. That deal wasn't about money. It was about proximity. It didn't take long for the skeletons to fall out of Matthew's digital closet. I hadn't gone into the system with the intent to ruin him. Not really. But once I saw the breadcrumbs, I couldn't ignore them. Late-night messages to multiple female staff members, subtle transfers marked consultation fees to personal accounts, fake billing codes submitted through insurance for procedures that were never performed. Most of it was hidden behind multiple aliases and shadow emails. But when you control the software moving every piece of equipment and correspondence through his clinic, you see patterns. And when you see patterns, you start connecting dots no one else even realizes are there. I quietly gathered everything, compiled a report, neatly indexed with cross-referenced names, payment logs, timestamps, and then I did something completely unexpected. I sent a copy, unsigned, untraced, to Claire. No message, no sender, just a link to a secure drive full of evidence that the man she left me for was a fraud, a serial cheater, and possibly on the hook for insurance fraud. I didn't even stick around to see what happened next. 2 days later, the news broke. Prominent surgeon under review for billing irregularities and ethical misconduct. Anonymous whistleblower. Internal audit underway. Clinic shuttering private operations pending investigation. Claire's Instagram went dark. Sarah messaged me again, this time with a voice memo. "Oh my God, Alex. You did something, didn't you? Claire is losing it. Matthew's under review, they're tearing apart his accounts, and she just found out he had a burner phone. She's staying with her sister. She's completely unraveled." I played the message twice, then deleted it. It wasn't about revenge anymore. This was justice, karma, and maybe, finally, peace. It came late, predictably. An email, this time much longer than the last one. "I owe you more than you'll ever know, Alex. I don't even know where to begin. I got the files. I know it was you. Who else would have known how to find those things or cared enough to show me? You were right. About him, about everything. I made a huge mistake. I see it now. You always saw the bigger picture, and I was too selfish and too impatient to understand that you were building something. Not just a company, but a life. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't expect anything, really. I just needed you to know that I was wrong, that I'm sorry for everything. I should never have left. I should never have taken the money. I lost a good man because I didn't see how rare you really were. Claire." I read it once, sat back, breathed deeply. It didn't sting, it didn't warm me either. It just existed. A final chapter, maybe. I thought about replying, thought about telling her I forgave her. But the truth was, she wasn't even a part of my story anymore. Atlas Ops was now in 5 countries. We had a global partner. I was invited to speak at MIT about the intersection of AI and logistics. I bought a house overlooking the river. Nothing flashy, just enough glass to let the light in. Elise and I were still seeing each other. No labels. Just 2 people who respected each other, who moved slow and steady and knew the value of building something real. I'd never touched the $87,000 Claire took from the joint account. I didn't need it. It sat in the back of my mind like a receipt, proof of a bad investment that I'd written off long ago. But then, on the anniversary of the divorce call, I did something impulsive. I donated that exact amount to a scholarship fund for nurses returning to school after career setbacks. I never put my name on it, but I smiled the whole time I filled out the form. She thought she ended me with a phone call. What she really did was light the fuse. And now, I'm the fire. 2 years before the call, Claire and I were sitting at a cozy little Italian place, halfway between my office and her hospital. It was one of those rare evenings where neither of us had to rush anywhere. The candles flickered, wine flowed, and for a moment, it felt like the old days. She twirled spaghetti with her fork, not meeting my eyes. "Do you ever wonder if we're wasting our lives?" she asked. I blinked. "Wasting? What do you mean?" She shrugged. "I mean, you work 80 hours a week on an idea that hasn't made a dime yet. I spend my days dealing with people who scream at me like I'm a vending machine for meds. This can't be it, right?" "I'm building something," I said quietly. "I know it doesn't look like much now, but—" She cut me off. "That's the problem. It never looks like much. You keep promising me there's something coming, but when? 5 years? 10? I wanted to tell her then that it would be worth it, that love was supposed to mean sticking it out during the messy parts, but she was already somewhere else. I saw it in her eyes. Some part of her was already packing up. Claire scrolled through the article again. "3rd time this week?" There he was, Alex, speaking at some summit in Berlin, shaking hands with people she'd only ever seen on tech blogs. He looked taller, Not physically, but larger. Like he'd grown into a version of himself she never got to meet. She sat alone in the apartment she'd rented with her sister. The once stunning condo with Matthew had been vacated under legal advice. The investigation was still ongoing. She wasn't implicated, but the scandal had scorched everything around her. Matthew was ghosting her now. No more texts, no more apologies. Just silence. She stared at the blinking cursor of a half-written message to Alex. I miss you. I made a mistake. Can we talk? She deleted it. Instead, she opened Instagram, looked at Elise's profile, just one photo. Her and Alex at a mountain retreat. Laughing. Real laughter, not the curated kind. Claire had never seen him look that relaxed before. For the first time in a long time, she cried. Not because she wanted him back, but because she realized he'd never come back. Berlin wants a satellite office, Wes told me over espresso. You're officially international. I smiled. Let's go bigger. I want a presence in Seoul next year. He raised an eyebrow. You've changed. I nodded. So have the stakes. We were sitting in the conference room of our new headquarters, floor-to-ceiling windows, minimalist design, the hum of a machine that no longer needed pushing. It ran itself. My role had evolved from builder to strategist, but the one constant? Elise. She walked in halfway through the meeting, tablet in hand, focused and direct. She didn't try to impress anyone. She didn't posture. She just was. And that was enough. After the meeting, we grabbed lunch on the rooftop. Your ex emailed me, she said, stirring her iced tea. I raised an eyebrow. Seriously? She asked me if I was using you for the ride. I scoffed. You gonna respond? Nope. She smiled. You're not a ride, Alex. You're a destination. And just like that, I felt something shift. Something I hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. A year to the day after Claire's email, I found myself back at the Italian place. The same corner table. This time, with Elise. No candles, just quiet conversation and soft jazz in the background. Elise leaned in. You ever come here before? Yeah, I said. Used to come here with someone else. She studied me for a second. That okay? I nodded. Now it is. My phone buzzed. An automated alert from the joint account Claire had drained. It was now completely empty. The bank was closing it. I smiled, turned off my phone, and slid it into my coat pocket. Elise raised her glass. To beginnings? No, I said, touching mine to hers. To endings, the ones that set you free.